Looks like Aaliyah's officially out. What kind of went into that final decision?
Just physically feeling like she was able to play the way she wants to play. I mean, she's somebody who goes all out, and so she didn't want to be out there tentative or feeling like she was restricted. I think that's when maybe you get yourself in bigger trouble. So day to day, we're close enough to be questionable today. So hopefully we can continue to progress.
Can you share how you visualize the lineup down? I assume mine's in, but besides that, we haven't quite been in this.
We'll probably see every combination of lineup that I have tonight. We've got 8. Everybody's going to play, obviously. We'll try some different things and some different combinations. Probably try to match up as much. Honestly, it's a game where we're just probably trying to match up to Connecticut, make sure we got enough size on the floor against them and enough shooting for us. So, see some different groups.
I was going to ask you, yesterday when I asked about big lineup, you said maybe, but now you've got 2 bigs who are out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still do a quote unquote big lineup?
We'll see, Kareem. We'll see.
And one more. Connecticut coming off 2 losses, obviously will be hungry and want to start fast. You always want to start fast, but is it more important today, just knowing their situation, that they're gonna kind of want to come out and be efficient and punch first?
For sure. I mean, I mentioned it briefly. I don't like to really belabor those things too much because you want to worry more about yourselves. But just acknowledgement of they're a really good team who lost 2 tough games on the road, and they're going to come in with a certain intensity and physicality, which they normally play with. I didn't think they went out to Seattle and started that game badly. They were in control for a bunch of that game and defended really well from the jump. So, I mean, I don't think it's any shock to anybody on our team how Connecticut is to play against. Mm-hmm. So, mostly we just try to focus on what we need to do to play well, to defend them, and score at the other end, and obviously keep them off the glass.
Thank you.
Is Kira still trending upward pretty consistently, or is she back to kind of up and down?
She's been sick for a couple days, so that hasn't helped. So I don't really have a whole lot of other updates than just trying to get her back to physical health, like wellness, and then we'll get on with the physical on the court part.
Got it. Okay. I saw she was sick yesterday. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure she was back. When it comes to leadership, I know we've talked about that a lot on this team, and you've got lots of different leaders. Is there anyone who you've seen kind of step up as a leader in maybe more than you expected, or in a different way than you maybe thought that you would see from them early in the season?
I think I'll just highlight a couple of vets. I think Steph just seems to have settled in well to that role. She was kind of new to the group. She's not new to us necessarily, but new to the group, and has found her times to even just stop in practice because she sees so much of what's going on the court. A lot of it's just kind of basketball leadership in terms of helping her teammates see what she sees. And then I think Shatori has really every day made a point of coming in and bringing energy, particularly to that bench group. She's kind of been the de facto voice for that group, and whether it's in game or whether it's been a day where maybe some people, like the more low minutes group, had to do some extra work, she's just been really consistent and steady. That shows kind of maturity for where she's at in her career.
And with Steph, the first time you had her early years of her career, what do you kind of remember about her? What's different now?
She's like the same personality, but I think she just has a more comfortable with who she is and where she belongs in this league and how she can help a team. You just hope for that. I mean, you'd hope for that between 22 and whatever she is now, 31. I don't know. I should know her name. Her age.
32.
Is she 32? Okay. You'd hope for that for her, just that growth in her own life and as a player. But it's nice to see. Everybody knew coming out of college that she had a really good basketball brain, especially for a big, and I think she's figured out how to use that and help a variety of teams. I love that she's shooting the ball as aggressively as she is, and then I think she's made real strides defensively. I think it's been one of the kind of the unsung things for our group this year is she's taken the challenge on really big physical post players and at the same time, like we're watching the game the other day against Dallas, and she's up at screens trying to discourage a reclaim from shooting, and then getting back and trying to block out to your man. It's a really tough challenge, but I think that's a real improvement.
Just one more for me. We were talking a little bit about the Olympic break coming up, and I know that you've got several players who are in contention still for Olympic berths around the world. What's that kind of waiting game been like, and what does it mean to you to have so many players who could go off and be Olympians here in a couple weeks?
I hope everybody who's in contention makes their national teams. I think it's great. It's a huge moment of pride for them and for us. I'll wait till that happens to speak on it any further, but I don't know. We're kind of making our plans for what was the second part of your question?
I don't remember what the second part of the question was. I think I said, how are you waiting, and what does it mean to you to have them, have so many players?
It's great. I think it's a great experience for them, but it's also just a high point of a career. I wish success for our players. So obviously that's a big part of it, and then we'll have some nice quality time with the ones who are here.
Eric, not having Carla, you obviously can't replace her 3-point shooting, and she also was a huge component of what you guys were doing defensively in some of those matchups too. But without giving away those kind of intricacies of what you want from maybe the 3 position, what are different ways you kind of experiment? Yesterday you talked about Dee kind of being that swing player. You had Maisha practicing at 3 yesterday too. What elements are you looking for in that 3 spot?
I think other people have to be who they are and bring what they bring to the table. Nobody has to try to replicate her exactly. Dee does it one way, and if Ariel plays up a position at the 3, that's different. If we play a big lineup, Emily, Maisha, those guys do it a different way. People just got to be who they are. We got to just adapt and find different solutions. I think I pretty much kept Ariel or Carly on the court almost every minute this year, one or the other. I don't have that option, but we got to manufacture that different ways. So it's a challenge for the coaches, and then if players play well, it makes life easier.
And I want to ask about Maisha potentially playing in that spot in the 3. A few years ago, we talked about her kind of in a point forward type role, but what can you see from her? We know she can shoot the 3, and we know she can be aggressive at certain times and going downhill, but what can we see from her moving into this position and how she would be able to fill that role for you guys?
I try to, when we have lineups, whether it's going small or going big, I really try to reiterate to players, you don't have to play completely differently. Like we used to get, we'd go to a small lineup and a guard would be at the 4, and they'd suddenly try to be a big. I'd be like, no, just play basketball. Play your game. Just know the plays from that spot, space the floor, catch and attack, all the normal things you do. So it's the same when you go to a bigger group. You got to know kind of where you're supposed to be on some of our offense, but you don't suddenly need to be out there handling the ball and running a million pick and rolls. Like that's not what you do. Play your normal game. Set screens, roll or pop, rebound the ball, cut when you're supposed to cut. We don't have to overcomplicate it.
We'll go to Zoom. Tarika. Hey Eric, how are you?
Hey there.
Just wanted to ask you about Stefanie Dolson and just how important she's been for this team over the last couple of games. She's really played well, shot well from outside. What are you expecting to see from her tonight? How do you plan to utilize her more in your offense?
We'll see how Connecticut matches up, to be honest. I've got a suspicion they may cross match a little bit and have Alyssa guard her like they did last time. So that might change a little bit where we put people on the floor and who we put in ball screens and how we use her, but generally it's the same. I mean, when she's in screen, she's a threat to roll or pop. When she's off the ball, she's a really elite big as a floor spacer. And then she's got a tough matchup on the other end with Bree Jones. So nothing radically different. It's just maybe little tweaks here and there depending on who she's playing with, who her big partner is, and how Connecticut decides to match up.
One more if I can. Ariel Atkins, again, she really has caught fire over the last couple of weeks. So outside of having a rocky start, just what have you seen from her in terms of her preparation, or is it just mostly just her being a vet, knowing that she can settle in?
Yeah, her preparation is always good. I mean, it's always the same. It's one of the things we love about her. maybe just a little more settled in where she knows she's going to get her shots. Finding her timing offensively, and whether to shoot or play off the bounce. We're getting a little smarter about how we screen for her and how we create space for her. A lot of new teammates. That's kind of to be expected. But even over the weekend against Dallas, she didn't have like her best offensive games, but she was the clear steadying force for our team through both of those, especially on Sunday when we weren't starting great. So, she brings so much more to the table besides her scoring, but as we've seen, she can also carry that load too.
Sure, final result is a little bit disappointing, but considering being shorthanded and pushing a really good team to overtime, just kind of overall thoughts of how tonight played out.
Yeah, proud of the way we played, and yet at the same time, it feels like when we let slip. It's the first time probably we've had the lead down the stretch of a game like that. Let one get away. It's a chance to close out a good team. We had a couple possessions we'd like back in the last couple minutes. At the same time, we got 2 looks to win the game. A ridiculous foul call on Julie Van Loo, considering what else has been let go in the game, but we didn't make the layup. It wouldn't, I don't think they would have called one on them. But, a couple chances to win. It's those possessions where you dribble off your foot or we're sloppy on a reversal. Those are the ones you want back, because despite the great effort, we fouled them and put them on the line 28 times, and we turned it over 26 times. And those are, key areas for us that we have been trying to dial in on. So, great effort. I expect nothing less from this group, but we let it slip. We're not taking a moral victory out of that.
That last shot, you got a good look from Shatori in the corner. Is that what you drew up?
What did I draw up? Oh yeah, that's a play we run consistently. Connecticut did a good job initially, and then Ariel got an angle to drive down the lane, made a great unselfish play, and I'm happy Tori took the shot. I'm happy with her aggressiveness generally tonight.
Just one last one for me. Dejanay kind of got a little bit loose there in overtime. Is that just a player kind of finding a groove, or would you guys would like to defend her a little bit differently?
She hasn't shot the 3 great this year, I don't think. I can't pull her percentage off the top of my head. She made 4 threes. She got a couple drives on us. Sometimes people make them.
Thank you.
On that Julie play late in regulation, was that what you were looking for, her driving, or was that kind of a secondary option?
Our timing got a little disjointed. We tried to cause a little confusion with kind of running Ariel and Maisha up at the same time, and our timing was a little off. But they chased Ariel so hard that it gave Julie a gap to go. But they would have waved it off anyway with that foul, I think. Even if they'd gone in, they'd have called that foul, but not the one where Ariel Atkins got elbowed in the face on the same type of play. So we're just looking for a little consistency there.
And just broadly, with the plays you were drawing up late in the game, how are you kind of thinking about who you wanted to go to? You've got 6 players in double figures. You've got Maisha perfect from the field, a couple other people shooting well. How are you kind of making those decisions when you have several people who might normally be candidates?
I mean, we're not really like a drop an ISO for somebody type of team. We were trying to figure out who they were matching up with in each timeout, and Alyssa Thomas blows up so many plays. We were trying to get her away from them a lot of the time. And it was different. Didi was handling the ball a bunch, and so we tried to use her as a screener and cutter and driver, and then we tried to leverage Shatori and Ariel shooting. I think we were stuck on 82 for about 2 possessions too long. So 1 or 2 more scores and we're in business.
What was different working well for Maisha today? You know, not only the big total, but being free from the field.
She just looks like a lot more confident around the rim. You know, I think that's the biggest thing is that she was defending AT and Duana did a good job. She rebounded the ball, and then I thought she just took her time and played calm offensively. You know, even when Duana and Bree Jones and those guys are big and long, but she just took her time, got to her spot, used her strength.
So that's just kind of from, again, you know, you said her defense and her rebounding kind of fuel her offense. Is that just that, or a good week of practice, or?
She's been pretty good for a while now. I mean, I've said it for a long time. I think her scoring comes when she's doing other things well, because I think it just locks her into the game in a way that she needs to.
Eric, you had a couple players kind of get banged up in that game.
I mean, the one where Ariel got elbowed in the face. That's the first one you're talking about?
That's one of them. But with Ariel, can you explain kind of why she was taken out, what happened for her, and then come back in?
Yeah, she got elbowed in the face. I had to use a timeout, which I didn't have at the end of the game. You know, when I called my timeout, because I had to use a timeout because they didn't call the offensive foul, they obviously upgraded the play, so she had to leave, and then, you know, it was kind of at the time where I would have given her a little rest anyway, and so kind of went back in her normal timing in the fourth quarter.
Dee tonight seemed to have one of the primary coverages of Duana. What were your thoughts on Dee? A lot of minutes tonight for her, considering the situation too.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm trying to balance my lineups as much as I can. I thought it was kind of the best use of her was to try to take that Duana matchup to start the game and show Duana some more length and athleticism. You know, different people guarded her through the game. They obviously moved her to 4, and then we were smaller, but I thought she did a good job initiating some offense for us at the other end, and I think we're figuring out how to, you know, both coaches and teammates and herself figuring out how to use her a little bit better. She is kind of a unique player.
And then using your whole depth tonight, because you kind of had to.
Yep.
Can you speak to the depth that you guys have this year? We've seen it with Jay, we've seen it with Emily, but you have 6 players in double digits when you're missing 4 of your top players, and you're still able to take one of the best teams in the league to overtime.
I mean, everybody stayed ready. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, but I think I've said it after a few games. It's what happens when you have high character people that appreciate being part of the team. Their teammates put a lot of trust in them, whether they played a lot or a little. And, you know, it's not easy on those days where you're frustrated at not having played to come in and do your extra work, whether it's your post-game lift or your extra work on the court the next day, but they've really bought into it as a way to stay ready. And we know enough over the years with hardship players and all that everybody gets an opportunity at some point. We got enough history to show that.
One more quickie for me. Stretch down the fourth quarter, you kind of went without Julie or Jade on the floor. What did you like about going without a point guard in that stretch?
Our defensive matchups, to be honest with you. I just thought we were defending them well. It gave us size on the boards. I want to watch our offensive possessions back and see whether it was, I'll kind of self-evaluate whether that was the right move, but I thought we were getting stops, and we got it to, I think, 82-75. And you kind of feel like if you can get enough stops from that point, you're going to score at least a couple times, and we just didn't score.
For either one, I know there's no moral victories, but with 8 people, you guys pushed one of the best teams in the league to overtime and had multiple chances to win it. What did what does this a game like this say about yourselves?
That we can fight. Like you said, we definitely were down a lot of people today, and we will be. But we've all stepped up. We all played really hard. Like you said, I'm sure Coach said it definitely sucks to lose because we had that one. But we're continuing to get better. So still got to look at the positives. We have a game in a day, so just got to turn it around quick.
Tori, you guys talk so much about that bench mob and big minutes from everybody and important minutes from everybody. And I know you've talked, stay kind of in everybody's ear. What was kind of your message to that group today?
Just with next woman up, everyone's gonna play. Coach said that. I told the bench today, today is about making the uncomfortable comfortable. They're gonna be putting in, different things. We're gonna be guarding people that we normally aren't guarding. But I think I'm proud of our group today. But again, that was one of the that slip away for sure.
That's all for me. Thank you.
Tori, you were looking at that stat sheet pretty intently. What were you looking for? What was jumping out when you were looking at that?
I mean, all of the above. Turnovers. So I know at halftime, like we were turning it over, and then they were converting on our turnovers. Turnovers. We had a lot of turnovers. A lot of ball turnovers at that too. But we knew, they're really aggressive. We knew that. I think we kind of got lax. They threw their first punch, especially I feel like on.
And the 32 points.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's the game. That's the game right there. So yeah, turnovers. I was looking at.
That's a whole nother player.
Tori, what was working for you? 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Even got a 2 upgraded to a 3 there early in the game.
Finally, right? My teammates were giving me confidence. I was getting open shots in the first half that I need to hit. We got the best passing big sitting next to me on our team. So she's gonna find me, and she kept finding me. She kept talking to me, along with everyone on the bench. So the confidence my teammates gave me and coach gave me, running plays for me. But I think for sure it's my teammates giving me confidence to tell me to keep going.
Some more for me, Steph. She mentioned passing big. I gotta ask you about that lob to Ariel late in the fourth quarter. If you remember which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was lucky.
What did you see?
Can you lie?
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Yeah, lie.
Oh, it was it's what he drew up. No, I mean, I don't know. It was just a Hail Mary, honestly, because my set of screen on me and things got jumbled, but all I saw was someone in white standing and someone in red moving, and I just threw it.
Was that what the green was for? Just
thankful that she moved, because I was going to chuck up a 3.
Thank you.
Steph, how did you feel like Dee Dee came in and kind of adjusted being in with that group?
Amazing. I mean, Dee Dee's the reason we got so many shots tonight. Her cutting, her movement off the ball is like the best we have. She just continues to move, and then defensively, first play of the game, she blocked Duana. So I think just her intensity, her rebounding, she just does all the little dirty work kind of stuff that's not going to be in the stat sheet, but I'm really proud of her and really happy that she's getting this opportunity and proving to everyone why she should be playing.
Tori, you mentioned the live ball turnovers. You said you guys were kind of lax a little bit on a couple possessions, but Connecticut, one, if not the best defense in the league, one of the top defenses in the league. Mm-hmm. What were they doing to kind of affect you guys, and what changed from that first quarter to the second quarter and beyond?
Yeah, I think we kind of got lax a little bit. We knew they were going to come in with pressure. I feel like, we let them dictate a little bit on defense instead of catching the ball where we went to catch the ball. They pushed us out a little bit, even on pick and rolls. I know for me, I was picking up my dribble instead of, keeping my dribble, because they were, I was a little laxed on where I wanted to go and, overthinking for sure. But yeah, they didn't do anything special. We knew they'd come in and they play hard, and they like to dictate on defense. Heavy nail, heavy help. And they did that.
You guys were just talking about the turnovers and it essentially being like another player on the court, and you mentioned looking forward to the next game. So what adjustments do you think you all need to make as a team to kind of have less turnovers in your game on Saturday?
I think working early. I think we slowed up a little bit too much, and we allowed their defense to set up rather than pushing the pace in the second half a little bit. Because it worked really well for us in the first half. When we pushed, we moved the ball really fast. Their defense can't set up, and I think we did too much of that, So I think we just have to do the opposite and continue to do what we did in the first half of just getting to our spots early, making contact first, and that way, like Tori said, we can get to the spots that we want instead of letting them dictate us.
Ladies,
any other questions?
Yeah, we got one. Ladies, y'all dealt with a lot this season, overcoming injuries and then overcoming the slow start, but y'all really had people that have had to step up into roles that they may have not been used to and really shine. Can you speak on that to your team's identity?
Yeah, for sure. a lot of bench players, like, we had to step up. And that's one thing I try to preach to the younger players, that just the approach, even at the beginning of the season, because injuries are part of our job and it's bound to happen. So it's not really a light switch. So it's just the mentality that we came in with at the beginning of the season, just to stay ready. And when we check in, we play like we're about to play 40 minutes, so that when that time comes, if we do need to, there's no change, because we already have that approach mentally.